But maybe I won't talk too much about that because I'll probably start crying or something.
Well, that's great. Let's do it.
Not really.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the mic. I'm here. Cedric is here.
Elle is here.
Elle is here. And we have the, what should I call you? The genius, the man.
The brains, the
brains.
Creative.
Yeah.
The creative guy.
The guy who can play with words.
Definitely.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
intellect.
Yeah. We have Raleigh. Your last name is
Chiwuta, sir.
Chiwuta. Yes.
Raleigh Chiwuta.
Raleigh Chiwuta.
Nice to
yes.
meet you, Ray.
But
Thank
you
you
have
for
a
coming
middle
on.
name as well, isn't it?
Yes, I do, sir. Tandazani.
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 Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
You can't say that.
I just said it. Is that all right? Thank you.
Better than me.
Thanks.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Raleigh Chiwuta on the house, the greatest writer.
Well, maybe
One of the
day.
great writers.
One, yes.
Working
yes.
on it, perhaps.
And you're here to tell us about some of the poetry that you've written and to also tell us about your book that you're currently selling, which is all about your life, your questions in life.
Certainly. But just to say, Tandazani means to pray, just so we...
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I forget that African names, there's always a meaning.
Yes.
To pray.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
So it might
Beautiful.
be apt to, but...
Shall we start by prayer then?
Internally.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not religious. I'm not going to take the lead on this one.
An internal meditation.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
All right.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of came to writing this book.
Excellent. Well, as you can see on the display, I've got a few. And I've got other unpublished volumes at the moment. And at present, though, I'm not.
4 wasn't enough.
I've got 5 on Amazon, but I just brought these physical copies today.
Yeah.
And so in essence, the writing itself was an organic process. It has been an organic process. It's perhaps only in the last year that I've even considered myself a writer.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, I essentially wrote for my own sake.
Yeah. Was it like venting things
Precisely,
that were inside?
Yeah.
Because they say it's good to get things out on paper, to get your questions, your emotions, your thoughts, feelings. It's good for the soul.
Yeah, indeed. I contemplate life constantly.
Yeah.
Continuously. And deeply.
Yeah.
Maybe even incessantly, you know?
Yeah.
And so the first manifestation was the Dichotic Dilemma, the fabric of life. So that means a lot to me.
Can I ask you this word dichotic?
Yeah.
When you look at the meaning of it, it's about hearing from the left and the right side.
Yeah.
Is this where the idea came that you were hearing one thing in this ear and one thing? I don't know. I mean, you tell me, where did this word, the name of the book, come from?
Yeah, I was on saying on that, Elle, I couldn't understand why you brought that name. Why did you pick that name as well? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair extrapolation. But the root word itself, dichotomy, is just simply to divide something in two, you know.
Right.
And I know what you mean. I think there's something called dichotic listening.
Yeah.
Which is what you're referencing. And in essence, so to basically get to the nub of the matter, I was born in Zimbabwe, which was a former British colony. And I was born in 1984, just after independence.
Right.
And so immediately I was born into this conversation that we still have, which is a conversation of race and all of these things, power, politics, and
acceptance.
difference. Yeah, really. And so from a very young age, is just something I just, for whatever reason, became very aware of. And for all intents and purposes, the interesting thing, though, I'll just jump forward, is living in England has actually brought me closer to, like, you know, white people or European people, if you wish.
Yeah.
And people from a general, you know, from all over the world, particularly when you live in a place like London, which is multicultural.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Where I lived for quite a while. But in Zimbabwe, it was quite binary. You know, because
you're used to black people only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that gives you only one point of view.
Yeah, because it was, you know, people still have the colonial mindset, both black and white.
Yeah.
So that division exists. And so coming to England was actually a real blessing because I got to collapse those two worlds. And so that's where this idea of the dichotic dilemma comes from, because it's like one world and another world here. So what you're trying to distinguish is, you know, there's these people over on that side.
Yeah.
You know, they seem to have a particular point of view about us, which I might not agree with.
Yeah.
But I'm on this side.
Yeah.
So how do you bridge that gap, you know?
Yeah.
And so that became a really intense question, you know, because we know the issues of division and racial difference are quite fraught.
Yeah.
And so is the history of it. And sometimes, you know, it's guidance as well. I just remember, because I've had very good parenting, and I just remember one day I was really thinking, and then my mom said, you know, everyone's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that just triggered
love that.
something. Yeah. You know, I was like, because I was trying to figure out, because I had an impression that, you know, white people or Europeans hated us. But then she said, you know, like, all human beings are good.
I love that. Because
And
philosophically, that's a question that has been asked for years and years. You know, Aristotle asked the question, are we born good?
Yeah.
But your mum, without questioning it, has just said, we're all good.
Yeah, it's probably just a throwaway statement, because I spent my life just asking questions and things like that.
That's great.
And we were vivid. I can vividly see it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She just said it. And, you know, she could have said something else and I could have become a different person. But at that young age, I think it probably just stuck. So then I tried to figure out, well, if everyone is good, then why are things like this?
Yeah.
You know?
Because I think another thing, we grew up on similar, because our countries are the neighbors.
Yeah.
And we grew up under apartheid, and things were hard for us to you know, to maneuver in terms of where you need to go and things like that. That you see differences, but the hardcore for you, apartheid. What did you see? What did you learn from it? And for you to start to, you know, differentiate. As you say, coming over this side, you start to know, oh, okay, these things are different now.
Yeah. And I mean precisely. And, you know, so I was born in 84, as I said, so apartheid was still in place.
Yeah.
And so that was another big part of my imagination as a young person, because South Africa was just there. It was also a global conversation. And you obviously had, you know, that powerful figurehead of Nelson Mandela, articulating a very beautiful message. You know? So,
of course.
So that was very inspiring and captivating at the time. And that's why I titled it. I actually don't know when in my writing process that perhaps it was even my dad, because I'm lucky again. You know, I've got my mom here, I've got my dad as like a intellectual guide, and my general family is just full of
support.
Quite thoughtful and people I can really just speak to in a very meaningful way. And so then the fabric of life becomes like this duality, if you wish, this interconnected confusion. Is almost like what makes life what it is.
Yeah, but you put it very nicely, the fabric of life.
Yeah, when I think fabric, I think of, you know, when you really look in detail at fabric, there's so much more to it than what we just see immediately. So I guess that's for you maybe what it is, looking a bit more in depth as to
Yeah.
What is this all about? And a lot of people question that.
It's crazy.
A lot of people question, but it's how. But you know, is the book giving answers, or is it just questioning? Very
good question. So first of all, to buttress what you said about the fabric, you know, it's exactly that. You know, it's a forensic analysis. I mean, even more so like a microscopic analysis. And when you read the book, you can see how I start to create an evidence-based paradigm about how all of this, you know, dualities exist in all aspects of life, if you wish.
Yeah.
Even like something as simple as gravity, which is an up-down phenomenon. Really,
okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Love, hate.
I was going to say, give me examples.
You know,
yeah.
So I start to, you know, and it just happened organically. I don't know. I was just typing, and it's not like a book that I would say I thought. It just, you know, they call it a stream of consciousness in writing. You know, so and that's precisely what it was. But just your question, if you can just rephrase it for me again.
Yeah, so I was just asking you basically, is it questions that are answered?
Indeed.
Or is it just your train of thought?
Absolutely. And so, first of all, I want to declare that I don't know anything.
Yeah. You know? I mean, you haven't got an insight to what the afterlife. Yeah.
I've got nothing to tell anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All I've got is my story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely all we have really as human beings.
It's what we've got to share, isn't it? That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Indeed. And so to answer that question, it's questions.
Okay.
It's really just questions, and that's my grander purpose at the moment is just really questioning life, but on an expanded scale. And this is, you know, I really thank you for giving me this opportunity to be able to speak, because, you know, the world is in a precarious place, if you wish, you know.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre. I feel like it's sometimes just. Is it real?
Yeah. The politics is fraught. I mean, and of course we live at a time. You know, when I wrote this book, Utterly Rose.
Yeah.
As I was finishing it.
Yeah.
That's when the invasion of Ukraine was just
happening. Oh, really?
You know, the ground invasion.
So it's very recent.
Yeah. So then
2 years back, isn't it?
Yeah. And then so actually the politicians and the generals and everyone were talking, you know, very openly about using nuclear weapons.
Which is
and just as we have now with the war in Israel and Palestine, you know, elected politicians in very high office openly, you know, suggesting the use of nuclear weapons.
It's just so crazy for people that are in power and that intelligent to think that that's an okay thing to do.
And also, if you think about it, when
it's
the whole
the
Second World War in Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
the
idea was that it should never happen again.
Never.
You know, and
look at the devastation. Look at it.
Yeah.
These are things.
People still cannot walk those areas. They cannot set foot in those places.
They can't even plant.
Yeah.
So
there's areas that they can't even plant.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of you listening. Like the half-life of the nuclear fallout can last for 1,000 years and things like that. I mean,
well, it's outliving everyone we'll ever know, and who will ever remember us.
It's diabolical.
You can't do nothing in there.
Yeah.
You can't use the soil.
Yeah. And
so questioning.
Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, all you can necessarily do with life and human beings is, you know, if you try and tell a person something, and they don't agree, you've got very little chance of getting them to change their mind or anything like that. Yeah. But I don't know. I think you mentioned Aristotle. It must have been Aristotle as well who mentioned, you know, just the idea of just asking questions as a model to get to meaningful answers.
Yeah, of course.
And ultimately, I've come to the clear understanding that human beings, we are not authorities on anything at all.
Okay.
No.
You know, because if you just go back in time, right?
Yeah.
So what is true at that point in time, like even as a scientific phenomenon,
is
relative to that point in time. in the evidence we have, in the technology you have to prove what you have seen, and so your frame of reference at that point is only an amalgam of all the information you have.
Yeah.
So 20 years from now, everything you've discovered could be completely wrong.
I know.
So then how can you even say at any point...
Lots of these things are theories.
Yeah, it's theory, right? So,
Yeah.
So I live on that basis that we just have to ask questions, not conclude that we necessarily know anything, because it's when we think we know that when closed minds and prejudice and
completely agree.
Things, like those people over there are like that.
Yeah. But do you know those people?
Well, that's it.
Have you met all of them?
Yeah.
Have you?
So.
but that's. I think you can't meet everyone.
No.
You can't just say actually we don't like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just throw something out there. We don't like Americans.
Yeah. So
But you've met every American person. No. It's true. So an example of a question that you may have asked.
Yeah. An example of it. I mean, I've asked a billion questions.
I know. I just want a good one.
A good one.
Yeah.
A meaty one.
What is the purpose of life?
Come on, man.
You asked.
Yeah.
How are we going to answer that?
Well, I mean, well,
we all ask that question, don't we? And every human needs a purpose. We all need a purpose.
Yeah.
And some people find religion as their purpose and their way.
Yeah.
And some people find family.
Yeah.
And some people find their career or creating, inventing something.
Yeah.
What is your purpose?
So initially, my purpose was to find out what is the purpose.
Yeah.
So
you're still trying to.
You're still trying to. Yeah, it might be going on for some time.
Yeah. So I came to a certain level of understanding that actually, look, at the end of the day, all you have is whatever purpose you create for yourself.
Yeah.
And it has to mean something for you, and also it has to be, for me, a meaningful contribution. And so that's why I'm in this chair.
Yeah.
It's a fulfillment of that, in many ways. And love for me is a big part of my DNA, and not just as a. That's what that whole book is about, actually.
So this is existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about love.
Yeah. So I actually, I was thinking one day, and I said to myself, So we always talk about love, right? And it seems that everything's about love. Even the most left wing, or the most right wing politician, or person will say their actions are because of love. Invade another country.
Those ones will talk something else and do something else.
Precisely, right? So we kill for love.
Yeah.
We have romantic love. Even someone like Hitler, for want of a bad
loved animals
example. Well, he loved Germany, right?
I love Germany.
That was his intention.
Yeah.
Was to bring back Germany.
He was a vegan.
Yeah.
He loved animals.
Depending on your opinion about,
he loved something.
Yeah. Or even people who are very nationalistic, if you wish. I've got no problem with it necessarily, but it can be a complicated thing. They love their country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even racists.
Yeah.
They love their race and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's and then I said, okay, let's explore this love thing. Like, what's actually going on? And then
do you mind? Yes. Yeah. Please, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No,
yeah, so I said, let me explore this phenomenon of love as an inquiry through poetry.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so this is the only book that's poetry and prose.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the rest of my writing is when I discovered because I think poetry and free writing is the most it gives you the most license to be freely expressive.
Okay.
Let's take it back though.
Yeah.
Grew up from Zimbabwe.
So
how was your upbringing?
Yeah.
That led you to be this writer? Yeah, how was your youth when you grew up from Zimbabwe? How was it?
That's a brilliant question. And I've never actually thought about that. So, well, I've already touched on it.
You had great parents.
Yeah.
A great family.
Yeah, so yeah, to an extent, and also, I've touched on it in terms of being born in Zimbabwe, and whatever it triggered in my thinking. But as you asked, my dad was a lecturer in Zimbabwe in social sciences.
Oh, okay.
I actually came to study in England in the 80s and for a scholarship.
Right.
He's very intellectual, man, very deeply thinking.
Okay.
And I've actually realized that
so that's why he had produced something like this.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing.
Yes. I think I'm just...
shout out to him.
I'm just like a clone of him,
Yeah.
Right.
And he was like, okay, I'll do the thinking through the 80s and then you like go and do the rest
take
of it.
over. You take over.
Because honestly, he has, to this day, our entertainment is necessarily just debating and talking and exchanging ideas and like it's great,
Yeah.
And so, but both my parents were educators. You see, my mom was a primary school teacher.
Oh, wow.
And so summer holiday
and
for
we
me,
have a teacher as well.
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
Excellent. I can tell that. So summer holiday for me wasn't like just running around and playing. It was more work and more homework. And so I had my homework.
But you enjoyed that?
At the time, no.
No. but now you're grateful.
Of course, now I'm grateful. And there have been many moments where I've actually reflected and thanked my parents and said, you know what, thank you for the upbringing. Because at the time, you're not as insightful. You're a child and you just want to run around and things like that. I mean, I still got to do that. But probably because I'm a very energetic sort of person anyway. And it was probably very hard to contain me, just sitting on a chair.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Is there a time where you didn't do your work and then because I know how African parents are.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You
don't even need to finish that question.
We haven't done your
All
homework.
alien to me. All alien, literally.
No, but the good thing as well is I think I just had a natural aptitude. And so I actually enjoyed, like for example, just a glib example, we used to sit as a family, and to just do the crossword.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed
wow,
that.
jeez.
You enjoy crossword.
That's amazing. I would have been so bored. Honestly, I've got... As a very young child, I would have just wanted to be out.
Yeah, my
playing,
dad would
running
just get the paper, like they used to have in the papers.
Yeah.
And, I just absolutely loved it.
But it's quality time for the two of you. And you're learning.
Well, it was
and
all of
helping.
us,
Oh, it's lovely.
You're right.
And I think the vocabulary as well, my dad.
You're extremely eloquent in the way that you speak.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes I don't know what words you're saying and I'm English. And I don't even know what that word means. But I'm just nodding.
Well, try talking to my dad,
But I should stop you and ask, because you wouldn't you? You'd ask questions.
Well, yes. When he writes some of his poems, because, you just have to bring out a dictionary,
Because poetry is not for everyone, right? It's
Absolutely,
not. And sometimes it's very, we have to really dissect it. And would you say your poetry is clear? Or would you say it's something that we need to interpret?
Yeah. So first of all, I just really want to say you guys are asking excellent questions. Because that's just honestly, that's just a brilliant question.
Yeah.
Because for this reason.
Shout out to you.
And I'll tell you why, because I think to an extent, perhaps to a level subconsciously, I wanted to make sure, because my poetry is not just about writing.
Yeah.
It's about a message,
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that it can relate to a 5-year-old.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And it can relate to a university professor.
Brilliant.
Like really.
Yeah, like everyone can connect with it in some way.
Yeah. And because there'll be levels of comprehension, right?
Right.
And also levels of engagement. Like we teach
Yeah.
morality to children, right? So you can write in a way that can engage them, but at where they are.
Yeah.
And then when you're a professor, you've got a more sort of like obviously detailed knowledge than a child would have.
So you take something, a different perspective.
Yeah, but you're still making the same extrapolations because it's the same morality.
Just in a deeper
level,
way. Yeah.
So, but in other means, as you say, El, you want your readers
to be able to understand it.
Understand it, to get something from it. And
absolutely.
And take it and go with it.
Yeah. And it's field tested. And it's field tested, I'll tell you why.
Brilliant.
Because I've read this with my children.
So this is
Ottilie Rose.
Ottilie Rose.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Ottilie is my daughter.
Oh, I love that name. Yes. And is this like the outline of her face on the cover?
Not her particular face necessarily, but she she's a mixed girl, so so it's technically speaking. But maybe I won't talk too much about that because I'll probably start crying or something.
That's great. Let's do it.
Not really.
Let's do it.
But in any case, so I think it came out when Theo was about 5 or 6. That's my son.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my son Theodore. Yes.
And how old is he now?
He's turning 8 actually next month. Yeah. And so I've read it with them. It's particularly with Theodore. No. And so I'm reading, and so I'll get Theo to read. So you can read well, and then would speak about it. So what are you getting from it? And then you say, okay, I think this, I think that.
So this is about questions in life. Yeah. This is about questions linked to love.
Yeah.
And this is about your daughter. Is it about your daughter? What?
No, not specifically.
What is it?
So
what is it about?
So this so this was written at a time when I was probably going through one of the most difficult periods of my life,
Right.
And so I think the inspiration to overcome those challenges was your love and connection to your children,
Yeah.
And so I was just I was working somewhere, because I'm a radiographer, and at the moment, and I was like, just really facing the challenges of existence, and then I just had, because when I finished this book, I thought I was never gonna write again, essentially, because I was 21.
You're not gonna stop, man.
When you wrote this,
you're not gonna.
That's so interesting you say that, because I've actually told myself to stop.
He was traumatized when he was young. You've been playing what you've been playing.
Too much going on.
Yeah,
too much going on in the mind.
And I can see what is happening now.
Yeah,
he's passing this to his kids. He sit with him and read the book he wrote with them.
Yeah, so they're going to be asking questions.
Well, necessarily contributing to the world, that's the intention,
Sorry, we took your train of thought away. Continue. You were going through
so
a time in your life.
So I just had an epiphany,
I get these a lot.
Just start writing, because so the first iteration, if you wish, of this book was it was actually called The Ramblings of a Social Commentator, because it was the first.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the cover had changed. It almost kind of looked like the yin yang symbol.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then my dad was like, I was 21 at the time. My dad was like, or even I knew that I had to refine it.
Yeah.
And then so this finished product, I was 25.
Yeah.
You wrote this book when you were 21.
So you wrote The Dichotic Dilemma when you were 21. Yeah.
The first iteration of it. This is like I had to refine the ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the first one I was just really angry. So
wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically what this book is.
What happened? Why are you angry?
Oh, because I think a lot. There's a lot to be angry about in life.
Why are you doing that? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why can't everyone just stop? Or
that
makes you.
It's one of those things that I want a peaceful world.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Like when you see since these wars are all happening, I can see. I've stopped watching the news. Like, quite frankly,
I don't watch the news.
I just can't, because I used to be someone who was up to in step with most of the politics in the world. I knew like, you know, the world leaders and all of that sort of thing. And in step with the current affairs, if you wish.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you think you are.
Yeah. But I just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
But
also
it's
you don't really know that what you're listening to is accurate either. And I guess that's similar to your not seeing both points of view.
Well, I mean, the way the world is framed right now is not sustainable. Right. The way we exist is not sustainable. Yeah.
No.
We can't keep fighting and killing and stuff. It's just not a sustainable model.
All the time.
Yeah. You know? I know it's in history, historically, that's how we lived. You know, people just invade each other, blah, blah, blah. But we have to find a new model. Yeah. And then that's why I write, you know, it's just to inspire that thinking like, you know, we're human beings. It's essentially one planet. Yeah.
It definitely is. So, yeah.
You know, like on the International Space Station. Yeah. You know, it's one planet.
Yes. It is.
And so
have you been there?
Well, maybe. So that's really my visualization. Yeah. You know, that there has to be a way we can construct a meaningful political, economic, and peacetime model that can sustain ongoing peace. There is no way we think it's justifiable to bomb children. Yeah. No. Or like kill civilians and all of this sort of stuff for whatever justifiable reason that you think you have. Yeah. It's just not, it's incorrect for me.
Yeah.
It just is.
Unfortunately,
you know,
not everybody feels the same.
Well, you know, and then at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I'm turning 40, you know, and so that's my raison d'etre, you know, that's my commitment. And again,
you're turning 40 and you've wrote at least 4 books that we can see
that are published. So,
that are published. I
that's
presume
a credit to you. That's amazing.
That is,
And we all have things going through our mind, and we all have things and questions that we want to ask, and you know, ideas, but we don't all have the courage or the intellect to place it into poetry or into a book. You know,
no, courage is a good word because it's taken a lot of internal. You know, like I've studied the history of people who make a stand in life. It's not usually a good end, you know, if you know what I mean. So I had to really ask myself, you know, is it worth challenging, you know, powers that sit in situ? Right. Because they're vested interests, right? Yeah. That's why things happen the way they
doesn't always end well for the person that challenges, but it tends to have an impact,
effect, of course,
for others.
Indeed. Yeah. And so you say to yourself, should I put myself in that position?
It's like self-sacrifice, really.
Like I know I can.
Yeah.
But should I?
But another thing, have you thought about the stress that could bring to you?
I think about all
the challenges.
Yeah, indeed,
you know, things that, you know, people don't want to associate with you anymore.
Have people spoken negatively about your...
Well, I've kept myself hidden for a very long time.
Have you ever someone cussed at you? Maybe come and say, F this, F that?
Well, no, I mean, this is really the first time I'm bringing myself out into the world, if you wish. I mean, I've got a small YouTube channel and I've posted some things on Instagram.
Yeah.
But
What's the channel?
What's the channel? Yeah.
Oh, it's called the Dichotic Dilemma. I mean, the Dichotic Dilemma YouTube channel, as you can imagine.
Okay, cool.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I've got a social enterprise. Guess what's it called? What is
the Dichotic Dilemma. I love that. So clearly, then, Raleigh, this is your. Would you say greatest?
I'll say so. Yeah. This is if I was gonna put it in any way. I think that this is an intellectual dissection, you know? Yeah, it is. Because it essentially, what I would say, posits like like a fundamental observation, you know, like the theoretical models, right?
Yeah.
And then you can have those theoretical models become a basis for everything else that comes afterwards. Yeah. You know, like Einstein with the theory of relativity, Newton, you know, with his Newtonian physics and all of that sort of thing, you know, like the grief cycle or like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, it's like a model.
Yeah.
Man, your brains, man, this guy, man, what's wrong with you?
I actually am understanding. I'm thinking, oh, I'm not that stupid. I know these things. Yeah. So okay. So you've made reference to all of these great initial.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm not saying that it's at that place.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
want
okay to be confident in your work.
Well, I'm assured in myself.
Yeah.
But I would never make the presumption.
Okay.
And people have the presumption that I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Because those are bold declarations. You
Yeah.
know? But for me, it exists as a foundational model.
Yeah.
That's actually
I
how
love that.
I reference life.
Yeah.
For me.
For you.
So that I can actually say, okay. Right, this stuff is happening. You know, what is at the basis of it? And then
why did you hide yourself? Why you
Why
decided,
now and not before?
Why now? Why you decided to say, you know what, I want to be at the back, but doing all this wonderful work that you're doing, but just hidden. Why come out now?
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent question. 2 reasons, maybe 3. So 1, I didn't want to die.
I mean, that's an all right reason.
Yeah. And then I had to get over my paranoia because all my heroes necessarily died, you know. Like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and, you know, Steve Biko, all that sort of stuff, you know.
Okay.
So I had that because that's how during
That's
my
very
teens,
intriguing that you feel like by doing this.
No, because I know the level of sort of like, what can I say? Because ideas are powerful.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why activists are sort of like in repressive places or anywhere are necessarily, what's it called? Targeted, if you wish. That's why freedom of speech, and this is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
So, but you might make assertions that challenge perhaps people who don't want to be challenged.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And that's
so you're putting a target.
Well,
that's
one
how
aspect.
You felt. Yeah.
Well, that's how I had construed it at that young age because, you know, the people that I saw making a stand for what I thought were just purposes.
Yeah.
You know,
so that was your reference.
Yeah,
that
was a reference. Yes. Yeah. So I had to get over that, and then number 2, I wasn't mature enough. There's no way at 21 I had enough life experience to articulate what I'm articulating now.
Yeah.
It just wasn't possible.
It's crazy though.
You know,
so
just
you were
not
so
possible.
patient.
Would you say
So
patient though?
Yeah. To have this and to be mature enough to say, look, I've gone through all of this. I've asked all of these questions.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, it wasn't the edited version that you have right now, but then to be able to wait.
Because it took you 5 years for you to edit this book.
Yeah.
To look back to it and edit it. But as Elsh is saying, the patience had played a big role to you.
Well, the reality is maturity is a real thing. Like it's a real phenomenon.
Yeah.
You know? And look, this writing a book, you know, I understand what I wrote now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even you know, there was a long time that, you know, the book was on Amazon and I'll take it off and because it was like, you know, it was precocious. Like it was before me, if that makes sense. Like,
okay.
Before
who you are now.
Yeah. The level at which it's like, wow. I couldn't appreciate it at that age. So now
crazy.
Yeah, but I've gone through meaningful life experiences, you know, like becoming an adult, living a life, having responsibilities, being a father, married, being a father, having challenges, seeing life in a real way, as opposed to like it's a
tangible now.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be hands on,
and then so it's not just about ideas because you know we can understand things. It's like that idea of like understanding something theoretically, then doing it in practice.
Yeah.
You know, so now I've lived my life in practice and seeing, you know, these things come about, and then it synthesizes. You know, at some point, like you become mature enough.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is, if I had spoken when I was that age, I was too angry.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the immaturity part of it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
There's no way
Yeah.
I'd have articulated myself with this much temperance and
also,
balance.
do you think that at a young age, people would have taken you as seriously?
No, of course they would, because it just depends how, look at Greta Thunberg. You know,
Yeah,
she's
of course.
16, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like Malala, you know, in
Yeah,
Afghanistan.
Malala,
So, yeah, so it's not necessarily the age. It's just about how passionate and forceful
Yeah.
you are.
Forceful you are.
And I when I speak to my son, I speak to him like I'm receiving the wisdom of the universe, you know, because
Yeah.
it's a human being, like he's formed, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't look at age in that way. I just look at what the person is contributing, you know? And
That's amazing.
Man, you're crazy.
No, but I think that's important. I think that's really important, because then they feel valued.
But
Yeah.
You're
They
right.
feel valued.
I think you're right as
I
well.
think we as adults, we too frequently talk down to children.
Yeah.
And actually that doesn't make them feel valued, or, you know, it doesn't give them a self-esteem that
And
they
you
need.
remember we had this conversation about Gen Zs,
Yeah.
where the Gen Zs needs time for us to speak to them
And we can learn something
and learn
from
something
them.
from them.
I'm a full respecter of children, like totally, right? And then also respect is like it's a dynamic or like a symbiotic phenomenon, right? If you don't respect someone, how do you expect them to respect you in the first place?
That's beautiful, man.
But then even more so, there's a deeper dimension. You know, there's also an African proverb, you know, which says that, you know, when you're a child, you've just come from the ether, if you wish, you know, and then so it's like spend time with children so that you're connected to, you know, the other side.
What's that?
Yeah, and then,
whatever that might be.
And then you're in the middle, you know, and then you spend time with your elders so that, you know, they have life and they're going back, you know. So
God, man.
Yeah, I love that.
What's wrong?
It's important.
You've been smoking something. You've been smoking.
So what have we spoken about? So we've got the existence, which is love, Otila Rose, which is your daughter, the fabric of life. This is about life and your questions, and then hope.
Man, that's Well, hope. Well, I mean, it describes itself really, and that's why I just titled it as that. You know, because. You know, so
hope's different for everyone, though. Isn't
yeah.
it? So
yeah.
what does it mean to you?
You know, as a fundamental phenomenon, really, it's like you're flat out.
Right.
You know.
I don't know. What does that mean?
Like you're knocked out by life or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Because that's really what hope implies, right? You don't see any way out. You don't see any solutions.
Right.
Yeah.
How to get
it's
out from
bleak,
a situation.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, and it goes into all those areas, you know, like any aspect of life, you know, any challenge, you know, even people who, you know, end up committing suicide is because they can't see any hope for anything changing, right?
In Ipswich we have
so I just decided to
our bridge in Ipswich we have a lot of jumpers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They commit suicide in jumping on
To
the
get
bridge,
to that point is it's quite crazy, I think, for people to get to that point without and to have completely lost hope.
Yeah, precisely.
So what's this saying? What's this book saying?
It's not. So it's necessarily dedicated to the idea of that it's never over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. I can absolutely assure you that there were moments where the fact that I'm sitting here on this chair, if you're to take me 2.5 years ago, is an impossible phenomenon.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Like
Really?
Okay.
There's no way if
really?
Well, it's
wow.
Well, I mean that's the point, right?
Okay.
And so like imagine if you're like in a slum somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know? And you rely on people's charity. You know?
Yeah.
Again, that's a function of hope, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah.
And
you hope that they're gonna always be there to help.
Yeah, and so it's speaking to that sort of dimension of reality.
Yeah.
And then also ultimately that, for my stand anyway, that the things that I hope for, like a world that ultimately works for everyone, or as many people as we can practically. I think we can easily do that, actually.
Yeah.
It's just a case of management.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's a case of management, philosophy, and what rules we apply in the world. Because the old model was, the winner takes all.
Yeah.
And that was the old model of existence.
I was saying that.
Very true.
You've been listening to that.
It's a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Land,
that's
religion.
And so quite a lot of people necessarily, let's say, who quite a lot of the thinking, and also we still use a lot of the economic philosophies from, frankly, let's put it 200, 300, 400 years ago.
Yeah.
And some of our intellectual models, or even philosophical and social models, are historical.
Yeah.
Right.
So really the point is, we need to just draw a line in the sand and create something new.
Yeah.
Which is what hope is, It's like all of a sudden you're in a new space and you're like, oh my God, like I didn't realize things could be different.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Because I think sometimes that not having hope is like a moment. It's a period of time.
Yeah.
It's not.
Absolutely.
Would you survive though without hope?
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
What can you do without hope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely.
It's important.
Some people need.
It's everything. Isn't it?
It's everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't say that.
Oh, sorry.
I've said it there. I've said it fast.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Something else.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. You say absolutely. I'll say yes. So.
Yeah.
Oh man, you spoke about your dad a lot.
Yeah.
How about your mom though?
Oh yeah, I did.
You spoke about your mum?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a primary school teacher.
Yeah, primary school cheetah.
Yeah.
Not cheetah, but
Sir.
yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Teeth back in.
For me, it seems like your dad have played a major role.
No,
in your
they
life.
both have, and
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize profusely.
Yeah.
If it's come across.
Jesus Christ, man! I need a dictionary, man. This guy, man.
Apologize a lot. Profusely, lots and lots.
I get that. You need to remember, we got viewers that they are not in your level,
There's
man.
something for everyone.
I tell you.
Would you like to read us anything from one of your books?
Yeah, I will, but I was just going to say, because that's an important question.
Profusely.
So my mom is just an incredible heart. Right,
Yeah.
And I think as much as there's intellectualism happening here, like this commitment, which is just a sign of love and consideration beyond yourself, that's my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she said everyone's good.
Yeah. Well,
And it's all about love.
But that one, that one.
I love that. I love
Mommy,
that.
we
Everyone's
love mommy.
good.
Yeah. Oh man. And then where you
I
go
hope
from
so.
here then?
Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
With all this achievement, man.
Achievement. Well, it's a beginning, isn't it?
It's the beginning. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But to have a book and to have written it and to have it illustrated and published and for sale and everything that you've questioned and thought about in your life, you can now see.
Yeah.
Because I have the worst memory in the world.
I see. Okay.
And I must have asked so many questions in my life. And I have no idea what they were.
I see.
Now you have a way to remember that person who wrote this book and also appreciate the man you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess what's next is a good question. It's this is really like a coming out. You know?
Right.
So it's just to create. So I'm actually, as it turns out, on a program, because ultimately this is not just an accident. You really have to work on yourself.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in self-development.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of self-development work. I do a lot of self-development training.
Yeah.
Because presenting yourself in a certain way is not an accident.
No, of course not.
To an extent, you can have talent, but you're never gonna beat preparation and training and things like that.
No.
I take part in this program called Landmark, and so this is part of the manifestation of that. Like the courage and the confidence to. I actually created this in the program.
Really?
That was gonna be a stand for peace in the world.
Wow.
5 months ago, this wasn't happening.
Wow.
Not literally.
What's going on then, Raleigh? Was everything all coming from where you brought these books? You were 40, you have 4 books, self-published?
This one is published through Austin Macaulay, but a lot of it is, I've done it myself.
You did it, everything yourself?
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do you get time?
With children, and I'm assuming you've got a full-time job as well.
Full-time job?
Yes. How well? The honest.
You are 40 as well.
You've said that.
Sorry.
I've never seen someone. Oh my goodness, never. Jesus Christ.
Well, the honest truth, and I actually watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
So the
So
reality.
you've got time for that as well?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent.
No, the reality is there's a lot of time. It's just about priorities, and also just about maximizing every moment. Like writing, for example. Because it's poetry, right? It's free writing. So anyway that I am, I can be writing, and then at the end it's written, right? And then I just compile, and then. Instead of and then you just make time, especially with my books, editing. Yes, it might have taken 2-3 months, but that's just 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Then it's done.
Life is...
And it's finished, right?
It's longer than that. A lot longer.
And then, you go into your next phase, that'll take you another 4 or 5 months, another 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
So it might look like it's a lot, but really in reality, it's just, compartmentalizing things, And so... I actually feel like I haven't done much. Man,
this guy is smoking ganja, I tell you, man.
I actually feel like I haven't really started. So when you said you're patient, I'm so frustrated with myself because I feel like, not like I'm behind, but I feel like I am behind, because there's stuff to do,
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a difference to make, and also, you just don't know when necessarily, quite frankly, not to be macabre, but you don't know when your time's up.
No, you don't.
So
none of us do.
Yeah, so every moment is precious, really.
But how does he cope under pressure, stress, and all that? How do you just bring yourself up as well?
Good family, again.
Yeah.
Okay. Really lacking that aspect, to be honest.
Yeah.
Really. Sometimes I think, I'm like, was this some kind of grand plan?
Yeah. Sometimes it's too good to be true.
Yeah, my family is just my brothers.
Yeah.
They're
you get on well
friends.
with brothers.
How many of you then? How many of you?
Cousins.
Yeah. But you're all
they're
very close.
brothers, So it's just like a galaxy. So that is, honestly, that is a space of tranquility for me.
So Raleigh, when you went through a hard time a couple of years ago, some people might say, well, look, with all these great people around you and all this support, how does a man like you, who has a successful career as well as being extremely talented, how does a man like you feel down? How?
Well, that's a brilliant question. You guys asking brilliant questions. First of all, to answer that, that is the phenomenon of being human.
Yeah.
And the only thing you can't escape is yourself, and so that's just what period I had to go through, and there were circumstances around that, of course, which I might not necessarily go into right now, but this is one dimension of me.
Yeah.
But, life is not always going to be a bed of roses. So there were challenges along the way.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not necessarily talking about them now, but they were certainly there.
Yeah.
You're writing a book about them. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
You're right.
I like to project the positive aspects.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, you learn from the pain.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
And when you come out the other side, you think, I did well.
Yeah.
I was strong.
Well,
thank goodness.
Yeah, and I mean, it depends what sort of like you can have sort of like an elevated position about what life is.
Yeah.
But we'll keep it like
for
now,
Yeah.
But ultimately, just as a practice, I intentionally, as much as I can, try and apply every challenge that comes my way as something to learn from. It's going to be testing.
And to question.
Yeah. It's going to be testing for the duration, but, like the hope, it always, it's like, and it goes back to the dichotic dilemma, sunrise and sunset, or like going through a storm. It's just a phenomenological reality of existence.
Now what I'm starting to put together from all of this is that actually your books, however you're feeling, you can draw upon any of them.
And then
they're from different moments in your life that have helped you through in some way. Yeah. That's very clever.
Yeah. And also the underpinning sort of like the substrate of all of it is, that's where it all starts. The dichotic dilemma. Yeah.
I've got something different now.
Yeah.
Something different. I want to ask him.
Go on then.
Do you believe in ancestors?
Do I believe in ancestors?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, well, so let me answer that question this way.
Yeah.
I don't hold necessarily a fixed belief system.
Right. Okay.
I'm open-minded. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I don't practice a religion. As a choice, personal choice.
But I'm open-minded. You are from Africa, though, man.
Yeah, of course I am. But
African people.
Hang on, you have to go right back to the start when not everyone from Africa is the same.
But more so.
You're right. You're right.
And even more so. I actually, if the first thing I write in the Dichotic Dilemma when I start is that I'm a human being.
Yeah.
That's my primary assertion.
Right.
Geography is geography.
Yeah.
Right. So me being from Africa is literally a coincidence. Or in Africa, as it were. This is my position.
How do you put this one out there?
Okay, yeah.
Could have been me.
Yeah.
And I could have been African.
Yeah. And then
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then also, like the thing that I'm really of course, in the last 400 years, this construct of skin color has been created as a phenomenon.
Yeah,
but it's actually not a real phenomenon.
Right, okay.
It's a social construct.
It is,
and I've really drilled down to the fact that it is absolutely a social construct.
Yeah,
it doesn't exist as a real phenomenon.
No,
right? And then it's very simple to actually articulate. Like when I look at my children, they're mixed.
Yeah.
But if I was to live in a society like in South Africa, for example, where you've got Cape coloreds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Blacks, Indians, you become a distinct race.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're black.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when I see it utterly, am I expected to see a mixed race person?
Yeah.
I see a human being.
See your child.
That's my daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, the first person to tell me she's different from me will be hearing from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's absolutely a human being.
Yeah.
That's my position. Flat.
Yeah.
And so that's what that's my grander view for you, for all of us. So really my commitment is in the next 100 years, this idea of race and skin color just doesn't exist.
Disappear. That would be
absolute
amazing.
nonsense.
That's so true. I remember during the horrible COVID time when also we had the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
My children, my stepdaughter and my son. My son is white and my stepdaughter is mixed. And they never really thought about that before.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And also my son's best friend is Cedric's son,
I see.
who's also mixed. He never thought about it before until Black
it was
Lives
present.
Matter.
Yeah.
And then he was like,
That's so incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he started to talk about colour. But before then, it wasn't a thing. So it's
not a
very
thing.
true.
And like, you know, the fascinating thing as well, right? Is actually they say like genetically, there's more difference between you and me. Yeah, it's a spectrum. This is what I've heard. Like I haven't studied genetics per se.
Yeah.
Than necessarily in like white people, right?
Yeah.
Or like because of the genome.
Yeah.
So like skin color is a phenotype, right? So it's just one presentation of like a gene characteristic.
Yeah.
Just one out of like
everything
many
that's going
gene
on
characteristics.
inside. Yeah.
And then we make one presentation of like, you know, a characteristic, create this whole phenomenon of existence.
It's just
mental. Bonkers.
It's just insane.
And do you know how crazy? It's even more crazy, right? Because we can't imagine. Yeah. There are intellectuals out there who will say that before the transatlantic slave trade, where this whole phenomenon was created necessarily, this construct didn't exist. We can't imagine that.
No.
Yeah.
We actually can't imagine that the idea of skin color wasn't even necessarily an issue. Because when I see Theo, I don't see his skin color.
Yeah.
Like I really don't.
No.
So that shows you that it exists in a certain perception of reality.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
So it's not real.
You put it so lovely.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know, you might be the same with your wife. I am with my husband. We never look at each other and I think,
absolutely,
you've got brown skin, I've got white skin. Yeah. It's just the way we're just together in love, and that we're human, and that's that.
It gets even more freaky.
On the mic, please.
So,
Cedric loves freaky things.
So I say, like, you know, when you don't know someone, right?
Yeah.
And you see them, they can be black or they can be white.
Yeah.
But then when you get to know them, that goes.
Yeah.
Like really. Like my ex-wife was like a white lady.
Yeah.
But she wasn't white. When I went to Newcastle, where they used to live, her grandparents, they loved me. Like from the moment I got in the house, first day, it's like we just knew each other.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's
beautiful. I love that.
But it's weird.
Yeah.
Because it was a little village.
Yeah.
So when I got there, everyone else was white. But then when I got in the house, they were not white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Because like I know them.
Yeah.
So I felt safe with them.
Yeah.
So anyone else I didn't feel safe became white. Because the construct of that racial division is, you know, either trust or whatever isn't defined.
Yeah.
And so we need to just, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Hey, this
Love
guy,
that.
man, this
Love
guy
that.
is clever. Yeah.
Did you want to read us anything from one of your books? It's your choice. You decide which book.
I think the poetry is probably better to read.
Ottilie Rose.
Yeah.
Ottilie Rose.
We can read one each. Does that work?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ottilie, what does this mean?
Well, her mom.
Ottilie.
Yeah, her mom picked the name. It's I'm not sure what it means, but it sounds nice.
Yeah. Okay.
It's of Germanic origin apparently. So
okay.
You know. So
yeah.
Yeah. And have you ever heard of this thing that if you you know, if there's a book on your shelf and you're thinking about something, and you just pick it up and open the page, it'll always land on the right page.
Yeah.
Guess what?
That's crazy.
Guess what I just
You're
opened?
joking.
What happened?
Oh, I love it.
Guess what I just opened? Like
Okay.
literally, I just picked it up and opened.
Okay.
We are all one.
Wow.
No.
That's
That's voodoo, man.
amazing.
You brought voodoo in
That's the ancestors.
it?
Honestly, I kid you not. I just picked it up and
open
opened it.
real.
You know?
And
So you can, we'll go left to right if you want.
Yeah. Am I reading the whole, just some of it?
No, just this one. Then I'll read one. You can read one.
Am I reading the whole poem?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
all right, okay.
That is certainly true.
Oh no. So just.
Oh, just the,
Oh yeah, because title. You know.
we are all one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
very good, yeah.
That is certainly true. That is the ultimate truth. We do, don't we? Look at the same sun, see the same stars, observe the same moon and walk the same earth, eat food to live. We pretend and pretend so well, to act as though we are not one, to live as though we are not one. We have mastered it over the ages, but the truth is inescapable. We are all one. Are we not all created the same way? A man and a woman must meet, delivered the same way. A woman must labor, nursed the same way. Is this not true? It certainly is. That cannot be denied. Shall we keep pretending? We will keep pretending, pretending not to know that we are all one. Whoa.
Oh man.
Whoa, that is...
Yeah, so that's pretty much all.
He wants to
Because
cry.
I tell
I tell you,
Okay,
come on,
let
man.
me tell you a story.
Yeah.
The first poetry reading, this friend of mine arranged it for me, man. I was just, this is good. Because before it was uncontrollable. I've actually been training myself that I knew this day is going to come. So I need to make sure I can control my tears.
I love, it's important that we let out our emotions in
true.
life
Yeah.
because this means a lot to you.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Ladies and
it's
gentlemen, please give it to Raleigh, man. He's got some tears, man. I tell you,
man.
we've never seen with anybody who will be so emotional like this. When
Yeah, but that's his mum. That's the love that she brought, and that, you know, that's what she's brought out of you. That love. You've got a lot of love to give,
this guy,
and that's what it is. That's what it is. So, Riley, do you want to read one?
Oh, okay.
Or do you feel like that's the one?
Oh man!
Oh my God.
Just
it's
not
happened
again.
again.
No.
Well, you just opened.
It's happened again. Okay. I'll give this one to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
On the left.
Cedric, you have to pronounce
Africa,
sometimes.
No, this one.
Israel, and Palestine.
Wow.
Right. You want me to read this one?
Yes, sir. I did say it happened again, didn't I?
This. Will you ever see peace? Will you ever know peace? The complicity of the human condition in full display. When will you see what that we all human being? When the dust settled, that's all we are. Maybe one day. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I love that it's short because
yeah.
it actually just makes me visualize
I
that
feel
the
like crying
dust
as well.
is settling.
Yeah, so that's the complexity of life. And you know what's even more strange? When I wrote that poem, all of this hadn't even started because this book was written before this current iteration of the conflict in that region.
Yeah.
And so it's something I've always contemplated because it's been a political point for the whole world. Well, pretty much since the establishment of the state of Israel, if you wish. And so I was like, when the poem just came into my mind, and then I was like, should I write like some kind of long piece and like talk about this and that? Yeah. And I just thought, no, just that aspiration is enough, because discussing politics and things, you're just going to get into a muddle.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be about who's right and who's wrong, and then that's game over.
Yeah.
So I just thought, look, as a human being, I have a hope and a wish that, again, people can live in peace and harmony with each other.
Yeah, of course.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then like one of the greatest things that you can learn is just to accept. What's that? Lord grant me the serenity to accept things I can't change, and the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it's taken a long time.
Yeah.
You know? Right. And then you just say, okay, it's difficult to accept that it's happening, but then you just think about what can I do?
Yeah.
And that's it, you know. So.
And this is what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, before we close, man, this is so filled. I'm so touched.
Yeah.
I'm so touched. Because, Riley, we don't know anything about you.
So,
as you have said to us, that you're just literally coming out and to express all this work. And I think, for us, we would like to bring him back again.
Yeah, we'd love to see you again. You know, definitely.
Thank you.
We're so privileged to have you, and driving from Norwich to come to us.
Yeah, appreciate that very much. Definitely.
No, thank you.
Yeah. And what I would just want to ask you, what are you going to do from here? I did ask this from here now. What are your plans?
Yeah, that's a great question. And well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. I mean,
you're very welcome.
This has been exceptional. I mean, a conversation is only as good as the people having it, you know. So, so that's been.
Thank you very much.
Yourself on the right side.
Thank you very much.
And
Fist
yourself,
bump.
Go on.
So that's the first thing to say. And I'm really humbled and privileged and grateful and thankful, you know, that I've had this opportunity, and it's look, if I was going to start anyway, I'm so glad it's here. Like, really.
Oh,
you guys have been terrific. And in terms of next, well, I do have a plan in place.
Right.
To an extent, which is reaching out to organizations in general.
Right.
Who are a stand for peace in the world, because it's not a global conversation in the way that it should. Right. You know, it should be on the agenda.
Yeah.
For everything else, just like we talk about climate.
Yeah, of course.
Just like we talk about economics.
Yep.
And they meet up for the G7 and all of this.
It's up there with the priorities, I think.
Well, I mean, it should supersede every priority.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, quite frankly, because everything else descends from comes after that. You know, how economics works, and really just the quality of life of human beings.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that necessarily, for me anyway, it's comfortable to be killing. I don't think it's necessarily even though we are predisposed to survive, we do have higher function. Yeah. And we have a choice. We really do.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've evolved to be better than that. We know better than that.
And to not acknowledge that is actually devolved.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it's very devolved.
I agree. It's barbaric.
Yeah. You know, it's not there's no way you can postulate that we're civilized when you drop bombs on children.
No.
Just no way.
Yeah.
Or just anyone.
Yeah. We are literally a regressed species, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So bigger things in terms of maybe making your stamp.
Yeah, and the reality of it as well is you discover yourself in conversation.
Yeah.
Like when I was driving here, like I was just listening to music. Yeah. And I didn't know how this was going to go. No. And I wasn't.
You were stressing. He called me yesterday. Hey, man, what's the plan, man? What's going on, man? I need you to know. I said to him, chill, man. Calm down.
No, you're right.
I think in honesty, the world needs a man like you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And certainly there are a lot of people in power that could do with listening.
Yeah. And the reality actually is they're just probably in as challenging, because they say that when you take the seat, you're fighting for power, you're excited to be in power, but once you sit in the seat, it's like a poison chalice.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, did I really want to do this? And then all of a sudden you have
because
to...
then you really are seen.
Yeah. Then you have to make the choices that you might not even want to make necessarily. So I wouldn't say like, you know, people in power are bad. It's just the conversation that people are having inside of the context in which they're having it. Because so all we need to do is change the context.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Because now what you're doing is seeing that everyone's actually good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in reality they are, because, you know, we start off like the young lady there, you know? Or even more so, we start off like a fetus. You know, in the womb.
A fetus.
Me?
Are you a fetus, man? But we do. So so where'd you go from a fetus to everything else?
Yeah.
You know? And I think we can play a part in making, you know, making the path of a human being, you know, less devastating as that.
Yeah.
You know? So
I agree. Thank you so much.
What I know I shouldn't ask this.
Yeah.
What exactly is your work?
my work.
Are you a diplomat?
I'm sure he said he was a radiographer. So very different.
But I'm confused. He said he's a radiographer, but if he hadn't said that, I would
made
thought
for
you were
something
diplomat.
else, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you.
That's a great question, and I'll answer it in this way, and it's probably a great way to sort of like sum things up.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in the potential, in the potentiality of human beings. You know,
Right.
So when you see someone walking down the street,
Yeah.
you just don't know what they're capable of. You know, I believe in raising people. So if you saw me like another day in my shorts and a T-shirt shopping in Asda,
Yeah.
you might never think I'm this person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, it's only skin deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so that's how I see human beings, you know.
Amazing. Thank you so
No
much.
more questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Riley, for sharing your books with us and for coming onto the mic.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Well,
Thank
have
you,
you
man.
so much.
Yeah, to have you on this platform, Raleigh, it's amazing. And my princess here, Elle.
Oh,
She's,
we really appreciate you. We really do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So if we want to buy any of these books, how can we?
yeah, they're all on Amazon.
So all of these books are on Amazon.
Yes,
so
ma'am,
if
yes.
you'd like to buy any of the books, you can go onto Amazon and have a look for these, and they'll all be there.
Yeah.
And there's something for everyone. As we've been educated, there's definitely something for we definitely have. There's something for everyone.
And
A little bit about every aspect of your life.
Yes.
And if someone wants to get hold of you, how?
Yeah,
can
so I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just Raleigh Chiwuta as one word. And also I've my social enterprise.
Right.
I didn't mention about that. It's www.dichoticdilemma.se.com, and I'm actually currently working with 2 orphanages in Uganda, Dream House Orphanage.
Yeah.
And Hearts of Care Orphanage, and at this point in time offering support, financial and just general support. And the idea, particularly with the social enterprise, is to be in a position in the future where it's generating income to, you know, to make a difference out there in the world. Because at the moment we live in a money system, so you need money.
Yeah. You do.
And that's it.
And I love that you said at the moment.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Are you a millionaire?
Thank you so much. Round of applause. Thank you very much. It's been an
Thank you very
absolute
much, Raleigh.
pleasure.
It's a pleasure,
Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe below to the mic, and thank you for watching us. Take care, and we'll be back soon.
Care. We'll be back. Are you coming back as well?
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Me want my dad, give me my wee, wee. Me want my dad, give me my wee. Me want my dad, give me my